Hello everyone, it's Joey here to give you my analysis and predictions of the teams for MCC 22. Let's get right into it, starting with the Red Rabbits. Dream, George Not Found, Captain Puffy, and Awesome Dude are teamed together for the Red Rabbits, and this team is very reminiscent of either MCC 10 Red or MCC 18 Fuchsia. They all know each other very well since they're all part of the Dream SMP, and I expect them to gel together well and do best in games like Sands of Time and Grid Runners since they've done well in both those games in the past. Other games likely to do well in include Parkour Tag and Battle Box because they have great team communication and amazing parkour abilities. Already, this is a strong all-around team that could definitely get into Dodgeball. Pete, Ryguy Rocky, Smallish Beans, and Spifey make up the Orange Ocelots. Pete has teamed with each of them previously, including in MCC 10, where Joel got his first win and top 10 placement. Ryguy and Spifey's most recent events were both with Pete, and so this team should all jive together well. Although Spifey has yet to play it, this is an incredible team for Rocket Spleef Rush. Pete has gotten top 2 both times he's played it, and Joel and Ryguy both got top 10. Aside from that, they could do really well to get to their side, Hole in the Wall, or Sands of Time, and while PvP games may seem like a weakness for them, they've also shown themselves to be able to do well in survival games and Battle Box too. Overall, this is another really solid team who are all around good at each game type. The OCElots, or as the community has dubbed them, the Golden Gals of JoJo, Sylvie, Ginelli, and Blushy, are the first all-women team in a canon event. Blushy follows in JoJo's footsteps as she too makes the jump from Rising and All-Stars into the main event. JoJo, G, and Sylvie got to know each other really well from all of their practice streams for MCC 21, and so I expect this team to do a lot of VOD reviewing and practicing for this event. They're likely to be strong in Hole in the Wall and Battle Box and have the potential for a solid performance in Sands of Time. JoJo and Blushy have popped off before and to get to their side, and they could use those abilities again to boost their team to the top. I can't wait to watch this team's practice streams, and the hard work will likely pay off on the day. The Birthday Boys teamed with Scott, Jimmy, and Pearl for the Lime Llamas. Friends from the Empire's SMP and repeated teammates, this group will have a great dynamic. I remember the team has won a round in Hole in the Wall, so if they get the game late, it's great for them. They should do fantastic in Build Mart due to Scott's ability to be that Build Mart manager. Quig could take a leadership role for his birthday bash during Sky Battle and hopefully have an explosive performance there. Overall, this team is slated to do well in team games, but should absolutely not be overlooked for their ability in movement or PvP games. Sapnap and Michael are teamed with 2 anticipated newcomers, Foolish and Tina Kitten, on the Green Geckos. Everyone on this team is part of the Dream SMP, and the one time Sapnap and Michael teamed together, they won, and Sapnap secured first individual. This team is likely to do well in PvP games because Sapnap. Everyone runs in terror of him, and the PvP games are also the easiest for newcomers to understand. They have potential to overcome Sapnap's Build Mart phobia, since it's Michael's best game, and Foolish could translate his survival building ability into helping organize the team. Because their best games are some of the most volatile and highest scoring, if they get those games late, it could be another Sapnap W. The Cyan Coyotes are made up of Rambo, CPK, Wilbursa, and Wisp. Wilbur and Rambo are a very frequent duo, have shown time and time again how close they can get to Dodgeball. Last time Wilbur and CPK were together, they were also able to get to Dodgeball, so looking for a repeat performance there. We also have Wisp, who won the first event of this season, and his team was CPK before. This team will be a menace in Hole in the Wall, being Rambo's best game as well as the others having had great success in it in the past. Battlebox is another strong game, with Wisp being a part of the first perfect 9 for 9, and CPK having gotten first individual in it before. This team will do amazing in PvP and movement games alike, and can definitely perform great on the day. H-Bomb, Grian, False, and Scar are part of the Aqua Axolotls this MCC. With 3 of them being hermits, you can bet that this team will have amazing communication and vibes. H-Bomb has also teamed up with Grian and False in the past, with him and False being part of the absolutely iconic MCC 9 Blue Bats. This team will excel in the team-based games such as Big Sales of Build Mart, with Grian being the CEO and bossing everyone around, and of course, Sands of Time, as well as an amazing Rocket Spleef Rush team. For 3 of the players, Rocket Spleef Rush is in their top 2 games, and while False didn't have a great performance in MCC 20, she has shown in Season 1 that she is great with an Elytra and Rocket Launcher. Of course, with H-Bomb on the team, they have to be amazing at Sands of Time too. These games are all quite high scoring, and with Sands of Time and Build Mart, they have a tendency to be played late. This means that they have a clear path to Dodgeball. Tubble, Tubbo, Sniff, and Eric are on the Blue Bats. Tubble and Tubbo have teamed together a couple of times before, getting very close to Dodgeball at MCC 15, being in the top 2 for practically the whole event. Sniffer's just coming up a win for their very first event, and so this is the perfect team for Eric after they're on a very for-fun team in MCC 20. This team is a jack of all trades, so they're likely to do well in almost every game, but are particularly adept at Battle Box and Sky Battle. Tubble showed incredible skill in the remix version of BattleBox last MCC, getting first individual, so it's time to see if those skills will translate over to MCC 22. He has an amazing PvPer in Tubble, and Sniff also managed to do extremely well in PvP their last event. Air has also done extremely well in it, being their best games that's still in rotation. If all goes well for them on the day, they're definitely able to get a surprise appearance in Dodgeball, just like Tubbo was able to do last event, also on the Blue Bats. The Purple Pandas are Puns, Jim, Shelby, and Cub, and this is the first team to have Puns with some Hermits. Cub and Jim know each other from Hermitcraft, and Puns and Shelby have teamed with each other a couple times before this. This is a very interesting dynamic that could prove to be very strong. Their best games are very interesting as they are extremely different from each other. This team excels at build mart, with Jim, Cub, and Shelby having done extremely well in the past, but Puns has also had a fair share of good build mart events, including the iconic MCC 13 Teal Turkeys. Another great game for them though is survival games. Puns has had a great streak early on in Season 2 and has continued to have solid performances, and so he should be able to lead his team well through it. They're also a great grid runners team, so their strengths seem to be teamwork as all of these games require great communication. This is definitely a strong team with a unique combination of strong games, being great at PvP and team games. The Pink Parrots consist of Tommy in it, Purpled, the Orion Sound, and Captain Sparkles. I'm not sure how he's going to cope with the swearing that will probably happen. The only people here who have teamed before are Tommy and Captain all the way back in MCC 2, so this is definitely a very unique team combination. They're a beast set to get to their side, with Purple proving in MCC 20 he's a top player, and the rest of the team are also rather good, so they should be able to snag a lot of team bonuses. This is also an amazing Sky Battle team. Tommy was able to get first individual in it last MCC, and Purple top 3. While Sparkles has not traditionally done as well, we saw in MCC 20 that when he plays aggressively, he can also score a lot of kills. This is also one of Ollie's better games. Despite an unfortunate MCC 20, he has also shown before they can get around 20th, with his peak being 11th in MCC 14. This is a very scary team that could potentially see 3 new winners and the breaking of the Captain's Curse. For my predictions, last place, sadly, I hate putting anyone here because it's so hard to predict, but I think it'll be green because of the fact they have 2 newcomers, which will always be difficult, and because they'll have to get used to some of the more tricky games. They could get higher than this, especially because Sapnap is leading them, but it's going to be difficult. At number 9, I'm putting the Aqua Axolotls, since it's likely that a team game is going to be out of rotation this MCC, and so many other teams are aiming for team games, it's going to be hard for them to stand out. For number 8 and number 7, it's a true toss-up for me, but I have to go with orange over blue. While I have orange low because Season 2 has been a bit rough on some of them, Joel has had amazing events recently, and Pete is still a very good player. Blue is also really good, and they've been consistent as well. Tubble and Tubble have a pretty wide range of placements this season, and we've only seen Sniff in one event. Both teams could absolutely prove me wrong though. Number 6 has to be Purple. With amazing games often played late, such as Build Mart and survival games, they could be able to pull back from a rough start. Except if Grid Runners is played early, then they could get the momentum really going. Number 5 team has to be Yellow because they are probably going to be the team practicing the most. Sylvia has shown immense improvement in Season 2, doing extremely well in the PvP and team games, and JoJo was able to get 8th place in her first canon event. This is a scary team. At number 4, it's going to be the Pink team. They have some really incredible games, and they're definitely able to score a lot of points on them. The problem is that the games they excel at are often played pretty early, and I think Sky Battle has the possibility of not being the event at all. But they aren't just dependent on to get to their side of Sky Battle, and they have a lot of strong players, so I could still see this team getting 4th. The top 3 is always tricky, and I'm putting Lyman 3rd, just barely missing out on Dodgeball. They're a very strong team with an amazing leader, but Survival Games finale could very well kick this team out of Dodgeball, as is tradition for Quig. Just making it to Dodgeball, I think, will be Red, getting 2nd. They're a very strong team, and their skill in the often played late game of Sands of Time could be what puts them over the edge. They'll need to get Build Mart out of the way early, but luckily since it was skipped last time, it's guaranteed to be the first half of the Decision Dome. Going up against them in Dodgeball, I have the Cyan Coyotes. This is a really strong team, with CPK come off a top 5 placement and cementing his status as a top 10 player. Rainbow's also shown in MCC 19 is able to get into the top 5, and Wilbur, although he can be inconsistent, has potential to do extremely well, like in MCC 15 where he got 10th. When Wisp was on a highly placing team in MCC 14, he's over at 12th, so I think this team is likely to have every member top 15 if they perform well on the day, giving them the win.